My sister went cave exploring. She returned with an awful request. Part 2. I'm not superstitious, but listen. I knew something was wrong from the moment she'd asked me to come crawl under the earth with her, but I'd assumed she'd had some near-death experience that sent her into psychosis or something like that. I thought she'd forget about it over the next few days, but she only got worse. She started seeing things. Unfortunately, so did I. It started small, not enough to fully set off the alarm in my brain, just paranoia slipping out. The feeling of being watched, seeing movement in the corner of my eye, and so on. The worst type of fear you can experience is fear of the unknown. The illusion that things were fine would crack from time to time, like the incident with the lamp or the black trash can. Or, to rephrase, what looked like the lamp and what looked like the trash can. I think I was too absorbed by my day-to-day activities that I didn't think to look around more carefully. No one ever thinks to look around. I would stare at Em and try my hardest to find out what was going on in her head. She'd wake up in the middle of the night and just stare out the window or refuse to eat. She worked from home, so she was here all the time. Most of the day she'd act normal, but then she'd slip out. 9 days after she told me she found out what happens after death, we were having dinner and she asked me another question. Do you usually dream? I stopped, my fork halfway lifted to my mouth. What? I mean, do you remember your dreams? Not really, no, I lied. I didn't want to tell her that for the past nights I'd dreamt of her, with her skin stretched around her face and her knuckles white, eyes wide in a curious gaze. The image was the only thing I could remember from my dreams, of her staring at me and me desperately trying to say something to ask her what was wrong. Are you sure? I mean, for the past nights I dreamed of you. I blurted out. I still don't know why I said it. She blinked and her eyes darted for a second somewhere behind me. What was I doing? Staring at me. You looked off, Em frowned. Maybe you remember that because it really happened. I asked if you remember your dreams. I slammed the fork on the table. Stop asking me stupid shit and tell me what's going on. You've been acting weird all week. What was the name of the cave you visited? What the fuck do you mean about crawling under the earth? And why on earth would you say I'm not there after I die? What is that supposed to mean, Em? Did you take something? Did you meet someone there? And please stop staring at some fixed point behind me. I don't know if you do it on purpose or not. Listen. For the first time, she looked uncomfortable. I don't know the name of the caves. What? How? How'd you find them? I don't think they're there anymore. They moved. I stared at her. She was crazy, and yet illness isn't contagious. If she was truly crazy, I shouldn't share her hallucinations, or delusions, or maybe it was a genetical thing. I found them out through a friend. Not even the internet, a friend who always knew the best spots. She said they were safe and truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. She sent me the location. I drove north through the woods for what seemed like days with Susan, Susan. And then, I saw them. The entrance, I mean it started fine, and you'll say I'm crazy, but the silence in the cave was unusual. I could hear the blood pulsating in my ears, and then the heartbeat seemed to rise above me and became the heartbeat of the cave, imprinted in stone, which seemed to move in sync with my body. We came across this tunnel where we crawled and crawled and crawled. I was grateful she'd opened up, and for the first time since she'd come home, she spoke freely, even if her voice was shaking a bit. I was trying to hear water dripping, insects, movement, anything. But it was so silent, and my heartbeat was just unbearable. So loud, I assumed it was just the dark and the silence and the tiredness that were making me feel things. Imagine things. She was staring at her hands, and her voice had toned down to a prayer, a murmur, almost as if she was mimicking the sound of water dripping through a cave. I've done this for a long time. I knew my limit. I knew my body. I was not afraid, not even once, because I seemed to fit right through it. Susan was behind me all the time, right behind me. I could hear her breathing, and we'd talk sometimes, make observation. The tunnel had some sort of a twist, where you had to pull your body upwards and then slide through an opening to get to a larger cave. However, after we passed it, there was no cave. Just another tunnel that seemed to go down. Her lips were trembling. I began feeling very cold, and a grim thought made its way through my mind, like poison. It couldn't be. Susan said that we must have missed the exit to the larger cave, that we must have taken the wrong turn. The tunnel was now abruptly descending, and I was diving into it headfirst. My chest pressed by the stone walls that were cold and dark, and believe me, by then hours had passed, no one had told me about this route. My head hurt from the pressure and the blood just pumping into my ears, and my heartbeat was so loud, so loud. Oh my God, and I could also hear Susan's heartbeat right above me, deafening, in the cold, in the dark. I reached over to her hand, but she pulled away. I believe we descended over 100 meters. I don't even know where we were. I felt her weight above me. I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't move forward anymore. I was stuck, and Susan was right above me. I yelled, and I didn't recognize my voice anymore. It was hoarse, unnatural, carved into my throat like a reminder that I used to be human. I wasn't human anymore. I was never afraid, not one moment. I was just extremely, extremely depressed. A feeling so heavy of desolation, of hatred. I begged any god I knew to let me through, and at one point I somehow slipped into an opening. It was dark and I was knee-deep in a puddle. I looked up to see Susan's head through the tunnel. She couldn't fit through. She stayed up there, staring at me helpless. The thought was now so loud, it echoed into my head. It couldn't be. I tried finding any other opening. I had no idea where we were. No idea. Susan was stuck there, and unless she broke her ribs or limbs, she couldn't get into the opening. Crawling backwards up through the tunnel was impossible to her. It was so weird to face your end like that, because it was truly the end for both of us. I was dizzy and trembling, and at one point I passed out. My flashlight went out, and I woke up in complete darkness. Susan was awake and slipping in and out of consciousness, while I was spiraling, hallucinating you, Mom, God, begging to be let out. She looked up to me. Her eyes were red, and little veins around them popped out, violet against her pale skin. Her lips were bruised and trembling. I am not a bad person. My chest tightened. I had a knife in my pocket. And just like that, the grim thought that had stained my mind came to life. No, it can't be, but it is. You killed her. Not immediately. I needed to make my way up. That meant doing what was necessary to clear what was blocking my way. That and her heartbeat was so deafening. So fucking deafening. She was so loud, and then she wasn't anymore. Not anymore. I would have never come up with the idea if they hadn't told me so. The people in the cave. The moment she died, I heard them crawling. I heard them telling me the way out, and it worked. I got out. Look at me. My eyes stung from the tears. Look at me. You were there for a few hours. You couldn't have crawled too deep. No, time is different down there. I knew you wouldn't understand. The food had gone cold. All was cold and bland. The house was still. Nothing mattered to me anymore. After I got rid of her, I crawled up and slipped through the tunnel easily due to the sweat and water and blood. I crawled, and then something grabbed my foot. I looked down but couldn't see anything. I recognized the hand. It was Susan's. Her eyes sparkled and a smile lit up her face. I helped her, Jude. By killing her down there, I freed her. This is the secret. The caves are a gate, a womb, and the earth is our mother. Whatever dies down there never truly dies. That's how we become eternal, by going back where we came from. This is why you should come with me. If you die under the sun, you are gone forever. Down there, we are eternal. I shook my head. My throat had gone dry. You're not you anymore. Listen, I know how to help you. I'm going back. I need to. You don't need to think about that anymore. Whatever happened to Susan was horrible, but no, there's another reason why I need to go down. I know the secret now. I know what happens after death, and they know I know. I either go back down, or the earth will crack open and they'll come after me. They're already here. They're watching us right now. And now you know, too. I stood up from the table, but she followed me. Don't tell me you didn't see them. They blend in so easily, but not for long. Stop, please. I sprinted through the hallway, and she sprinted after me. Jude, please listen. It's for your own good. I grabbed my coat and keys. She was now running after me, and I didn't want her to touch me. I unlocked the front door and slammed it into her, then locked it. She rattled the doorknob, yelling. Jude, she screeched. Listen to me. I can help. I will help. Just listen, please, she cried. I got into my car. From my driveway, I could see her silhouette at the window. Actually, I'm not sure which one was her. I don't want to know. I drove to my mother and told her everything. We came back to the house in the morning, but Em was gone. Our backyard had a small opening in the ground, enough so that someone could crawl through it. Em has been missing for over 6 days now, and sometimes I can hear her calling my name, a barely perceptible whisper, echoing through the tunnel in our yard. I know you'll say I should move out, but she's my sister, and I don't want to let her rot down there.